Have you ever felt like something was off in a relationship but couldn't quite put your finger on it? Maybe a friend, coworker, or even a family member acts polite on the surface, yet you sense an undercurrent of negativity. It's subtle, quiet, but it's there, a hidden resentment. What if I told you that learning to spot the signs of secret resentment can completely change the way you navigate your relationships? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of hidden emotions, exploring the subtle clues that reveal when someone resents you, even if they never say it out loud. Resentment is one of the trickiest emotions to uncover because it doesn't usually show up in obvious outbursts or confrontations. Instead, it hides beneath politeness, fake smiles, and seemingly normal interactions. But once you know what to look for, the mask starts to crack, and you realize the truth behind the facade. One of the most common signs is passive-aggressive behavior. Have you noticed someone making backhanded compliments, sarcastic remarks, or jokes that sting a little too much? On the surface, it may look like humor, but deep down, it's often resentment disguised as playfulness. When someone resents you, they often lack the courage or desire to confront you directly, so their feelings leak out in indirect ways. Another sign is the subtle withdrawal of support. Think about the people who once cheered you on, celebrated your wins, and encouraged your growth. If you suddenly feel their enthusiasm fade, if their congratulations seem forced, or if they appear distant when good things happen to you, that might be resentment. Instead of celebrating your progress, they may feel threatened or envious, leading them to pull away emotionally. The shift is often so gradual that you don't notice it until one day you realize, they're not as happy for me as they used to be. Pay attention to body language, because it rarely lies. A resentful person may avoid eye contact, cross their arms when speaking to you, or offer forced smiles that never quite reach their eyes. Human beings communicate far more with gestures and expressions than with words, and resentment has a way of leaking through no matter how hard someone tries to conceal it. If you notice tension in their posture, stiffness in their tone, or a lack of warmth in their interactions, you might be picking up on their hidden emotions. Another powerful indicator is when conversations with this person start feeling one-sided. They may stop asking about your life, your goals, or your struggles. Instead, they either talk only about themselves or keep interactions superficial. Resentment often creates distance, and one way people distance themselves is by disengaging emotionally from their world. Over time, you may realize that they're no longer truly present with you, even if they're physically in the same space. Jealousy is also closely tied to resentment, and it can reveal itself in subtle ways. For example, if you share good news and they quickly change the subject, minimize your achievement, or respond with a dismissive comment, that's a sign. Instead of celebrating, they feel overshadowed, and that inner comparison breeds resentment. Sometimes it even comes out in competition. Maybe they start trying to one-up you, always needing to prove themselves, as though your success threatens their worth. One of the most overlooked signs is inconsistent kindness. A person who secretly resents you might still do nice things for you, but their efforts feel inconsistent or transactional. They may help you out one day but act cold the next, leaving you confused about where you stand. This inconsistency is often a reflection of their internal conflict. Part of them wants to maintain the relationship, but another part harbors bitterness that they can't fully suppress. Then there's the silence. Silence can speak louder than words. When someone who used to engage in open communication suddenly grows quiet, avoids deeper conversations, or gives you short, clipped responses, it could be resentment at work. Instead of addressing the issue directly, they retreat into silence, using withdrawal as a shield. Over time, this silence can feel suffocating, eroding the trust and intimacy you once shared. Sometimes, resentment reveals itself through subtle sabotage. It might not be obvious, but maybe they forget to pass along important information, fail to follow through on a commitment, or undermine you in small ways. These actions can be brushed off as accidents, but when they happen repeatedly, they point to something deeper. Resentment often shows up as a quiet resistance to your success or happiness, expressed through little acts that hold you back. Pay attention to how often they bring up the past. If someone repeatedly mentions old mistakes, failures, or conflicts, even in casual conversation, it may be a sign they haven't let go of their grievances. Resentment thrives in the past. It feeds on what went wrong rather than what could go right. By bringing up history, they're signaling that their wounds remain unhealed and their bitterness is still active beneath the surface. Finally, notice how you feel around them. Our intuition is powerful, and often we sense the emotional atmosphere before we consciously identify the signs. If you walk away from interactions feeling drained, uneasy, or subtly judged, trust that feeling. Resentment creates tension in the air, and your subconscious often picks up on it even when your conscious mind hasn't pieced it together yet. The truth is, resentment rarely stays hidden forever. It leaves traces in behavior, body language, and energy. The challenge is whether you're willing to see those traces and acknowledge what they mean. Recognizing resentment doesn't mean you have to cut people off immediately, but it does mean you need to approach the relationship with awareness and honesty. Because once resentment festers, it rarely resolves on its own. It usually grows until it becomes undeniable. Understanding these signs gives you power. Power to protect your peace, to set boundaries, and to choose who you let close to you. Too often, we ignore the small red flags because we don't want to believe someone feels that way about us. But ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. The sooner you identify resentment, the sooner you can decide how to respond, with clarity, strength, and self-respect. Resentment doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It often grows silently over time, fed by unspoken feelings, unresolved conflicts, or deep insecurities. In some cases, the person who resents you might not even fully understand why they feel that way. Maybe they compare themselves to you too much. Maybe they feel overlooked, underappreciated, or even betrayed in ways you're not aware of. And instead of addressing it openly, they bottle it up. That's why it shows up in those subtle, almost invisible behaviors, because they're carrying feelings they can't or won't express directly. So what should you do if you start noticing these signs? The first step is awareness. Once you see the patterns, you can't unsee them. Awareness allows you to detach emotionally from their hidden negativity. Instead of blaming yourself or getting sucked into their silent hostility, you recognize that it's their internal struggle spilling into the relationship. That doesn't mean you should ignore it, but it does mean you don't have to carry the weight of their emotions on your shoulders. In some cases, having an open conversation can help. Addressing the tension directly, in a calm and non-accusatory way, might give them the space to share what they've been holding inside. But it's important to remember that not everyone is willing to admit resentment, even to themselves. Some people prefer to keep hiding it, because acknowledging it would force them to face uncomfortable truths. That's where boundaries become essential. Protecting your mental and emotional health means deciding how much access you give to someone who resents you. Imagine spending time with someone who quietly resents you day after day. Their energy chips away at your confidence. Their subtle negativity clouds your joy, and their silence erodes your sense of connection. Over time, you start to question yourself, wondering what you did wrong or why the relationship feels so heavy. But the truth is, it's not always about you. It's about them, their unspoken disappointments, their internal battles. Recognizing that truth is liberating. It frees you from the trap of self-blame. But let's be honest, resentment is contagious if you're not careful. It can pull you down if you allow it to fester in your relationships unchecked. You might find yourself reacting with defensiveness, frustration, or even resentment of your own. That's why it's so important to deal with it early. You can choose whether to confront it, distance yourself, or set clear emotional boundaries. Each choice depends on the relationship and how much value it holds in your life. Sometimes, the healthiest choice is distance. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be a fight, but quietly limiting your exposure to someone who secretly resents you can protect your peace. Other times, if the relationship is worth saving, It requires honesty and effort from both sides. But whatever path you choose, clarity is your ally. Knowing the signs, trusting your instincts, and refusing to ignore the red flags will save you from months or even years of silent emotional strain. Think about it. Life is too short to be surrounded by hidden hostility. The people you allow into your circle should lift you, not secretly pull you down. Resentment thrives in the shadows, but once you bring it into the light, whether through recognition, boundaries, or honest dialogue, you take away its power. Now here's a question worth reflecting on. Have you ever noticed these subtle signs in someone close to you? Maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a family member who seemed supportive but, over time, revealed small hints of resentment? How did it make you feel, and how did you respond? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story might help someone else recognize the same patterns in their own life. At the end of the day, hidden resentment is not just about them. It's about you and the choices you make to protect your well-being. You deserve relationships rooted in honesty, support, and respect, not ones clouded by jealousy, competition, or bitterness. Every time you choose to recognize the signs, every time you set a boundary, you're choosing your peace over their unspoken hostility. That is a real strength. So the next time you sense that something feels off, trust yourself. Don't dismiss the subtle signs. Don't silence your intuition, and don't allow resentment to quietly corrode the bonds that matter to you. Whether you address it head-on or quietly step away, remember this: your energy is precious, and you have the power to decide who gets access to it. Life is too valuable to waste on relationships poisoned by hidden negativity. Choose clarity, choose honesty, and above all, choose peace. The people who truly value you will never hide resentment. They'll speak, share, and grow with you. Those who can't, let them go, and make room for connections that bring light, not shadows. If this video gave you new insights into hidden resentment and how to spot it, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you protect your mind, strengthen your relationships, and grow into your best self. And remember, sometimes the most powerful act of self-care is recognizing what doesn't serve you and having the courage to walk away.